Hello, beloveds. I am here with Nadine Bellot, and she is going to talk to us about her "Dang, I wish I knew you when I went to college" story. And the reason I've named it that way, as you all know, is when I talk about how to earn a debt-free degree, or how I've earned 3 debt-free degrees, people always, that's their response. I wish I knew you when I went to college. And so Nadine and I met through mutual friends, and I've interviewed her for her professional expertise in the Pontification with the Pro series. And then in that conversation, I said, oh, can I interview you here as well? And so this is Nadine talking about her not debt-free degree story and how it impacted her and her daughter. And so Nadine, welcome to Debt-Free Degree community.
Thank you so much. I completely admire this work and it is beautiful. So whatever I can add to it, I'm here for it.
Thank you. We appreciate you so very, very much. So some people are willing to share amounts. Some people are embarrassed about amounts. Some people are willing to share how long they've been paying off. Some people, that's an embarrassment. And so I want to meet you where you are, Nadine. So what is it about your own story where you took student loan debt? Number one, I really want the community to understand the feelings that go into it, the hardship that goes into it, and then kind of a little bit about your story, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I graduated from Catholic school in Maryland, and not a lot was really shared with me personally, I'll say, regarding the steps that it might take to enter into a private university or college without student loan debt. It just wasn't a very nurturing environment for that type of planning. So I'll start there. Back, I feel like it was ancient times when I was considering college. There weren't even really a lot of conversations in the ether or ethos about going to school debt free. I just knew that I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to leave Maryland and experience something different. So I started out with community college to get, on the dean's list and try to, place my grades high enough to enter into university out of state.
That's good.
It was good and probably the smarter decision to make is to stay in state. And, we had excellent schools in Maryland, but I was so focused on wanting to leave that was my goal. And, nothing was going to stop me. I feel like I thought like money was gonna fall out of the sky and all the, stars would align and, oh, it's gonna be fine without a real plan. So I did a whole year in state and left without any debt and then entered into private university for 2 years out of state. And that's really where I accrued the majority of my student loan debt, just to have the experience out of state. Yeah.
So did you graduate in those 2 years? Like you did a year of community college and then you did 2 years out of state. Did you graduate?
I did not graduate from that school. I actually came back to Maryland and that's where I finished.
Okay. So you did a year at community college. You did 2 years out of state at a private school, and then you came back to Maryland to a public institution, I'm assuming.
I went to University of Baltimore. So so it actually was less expensive and I didn't have to accrue loans for it.
Okay.
So, again, kind of the in-state thing being the theme here, that's probably what I should have stuck with. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And then they accepted, I mean, obviously, I think University of Baltimore probably accepted all of your credits from community college, but did they accept all your credits from the 2 years out of school as well?
They did. It was an awesome program. It was for specifically back then, it was just for transition students who were transferring and transitioning into their higher degree.
Excellent.
I mean, it was amazing. It's totally different now. They start out with freshman year,
Okay.
but yeah, so it was a great school.
Excellent. One of the things that you said is that was my goal and nothing was going to deter me from it. Yeah. And my thing is with these students and with these parents is if your goal is a debt-free degree, then you have that same resolve that Nadine has. That is my goal and nothing is going to deter me from it. And I will show you all the how. The thing is folks have all these other goals and then they get frustrated that the debt-free degree doesn't work. Well, if you don't set the debt-free degree as your goal, then it's not going to work. You know, if I set a goal that I want to lose weight, and also nothing is going to deter me from those sugar cookies, then the two aren't necessarily meshing, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not that I say that you must stay in state. I never say that. However, it's just thinking about return on investment. And so Nadine, those do you have education post bachelor's?
No, so I stopped there.
Okay.
I thought about going back, but it wasn't really that wasn't, I've
Okay.
decided on another avenue. Yeah.
Yes. Was the debt that you were carrying a deterrent to wanting to get more education?
It definitely was number 5 on the list. It was,
Okay.
it was the first. Some other life things were, but
Yeah.
consideration for
Okay.
sure. Mhm.
Okay. And then how long did it take you to pay off those 2 years of private school?
So I'm still paying that. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
still paying that only because, and I'll tell you, because when you also decide to start a family and have all these other, life events happen,
Yes.
build a house, sending your kid to private school to try to, mitigate or offset some of that future expense with college, then all those other things come into play. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
me and our loans are, we're in a good marriage together.
Yes. 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 Yeah. Yeah. So what beloveds, what I want you all to hear is that Nadine went to community college debt free. She did 2 years out of state at a private school where she accrued debt. Then she came back to an in-state institution and graduated. And at that institution, that was debt free. So she's talking about she's paying loans on year 2 and 3 out of 4. So
Yeah.
years 1 and 4 were debt free. And she's still paying this. Now she looks young, y'all. And so, I just want you to know she is young and beautiful. And also there are a couple of decades in there that she's been paying, right? And
Yeah.
so you talked about having children and wanting to send your children to private school to mitigate some of these future costs. So
Yeah.
in your mind, you were thinking if we send our children to private school for K-12 or P-12, then that would set them up to get scholarships or whatever in college, I'm assuming, right?
Mhm.
And so how has carrying the debt impacted the way that you parent and the way that you've taught your child about, when she goes to college?
Carrying debt of really anything outside of maybe business or things like that that it might turn into an asset later is a burden. You don't want to go into life, into family planning with something that could be avoidable. I resent the debt. I feel like education should not cost what it does. I mean, it becomes the song that I'm singing with the rest of the choir here, and that, student loans, is another thing. But, I fully understand that it doesn't have to be. This is something that I wanted to pass on to my daughter. It's a lesson that I wish I would have learned. Like, dang, wish I would have met you before I went to college.
Yeah.
It's the conversation that needs to be had. And you hear, like, we had, college students who graduated from our high school come back and talk to our class and say, oh, well, you're probably not even going to, work in the degree that you get in school. So, just be sure to focus on what you love and things like that. But you kind of hear that and you're just like, well, that's not going to be me.
Mhm.
Same as you might hear, oh, you're going to graduate with all this debt and you're going to start your life off in debt. Oh, that's not going to be me. But without a true plan, step by step in a focused intention, even starting as early as leaving middle school, you really are just kind of floating in the wind and, flying by the seat of your pants. And I didn't want that for her. So we were,
Mhm.
at the time, my husband and I, very intentional about how we were going to set her up for entering into college. And I like to say that it did work out the way that we expected,
Good.
outside of a few expenses here and there, but it did. The plan worked to pay off
Excellent.
up front.
Excellent, 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 excellent. So now, so she's in college, and so now she is set up I don't want to say better than you, but
Mhm.
she's not accruing this tremendous amount of debt that she's
Yeah,
going to have to pay off for decades because
exactly.
you took your experience and said, I don't want this for her.
Absolutely. And it's better, and I think that that's how it should be, that as we, suffer these pains and ills that maybe could have been avoided but weren't, we definitely don't want to pass that on to the next generation so that they are set up a little bit better and they can pay it forward maybe when I'm in retirement
Right,
for the
right,
sacrifice. But
right.
yeah, because it's that family circle that you want to definitely not leave a legacy of debt, but
Yeah,
the freedom from those
right.
choices that we make without truly planning for it. Yeah.
Right, 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 right. So Nadine, you were saying that people would come back to your high school and just speak into you, and they would say you might not, you probably won't use your major, and you would think that's not me, which
Yeah.
ironically kind of is you in terms of international business a little bit, but not. I mean, they're still tangentially like it's related. And then you're going to graduate with a lot of debt, and you were thinking that's not me.
Mhm.
What do you think would have pierced through to say this is the trajectory you're on and here's a way you can avoid it?
I think exactly like what you just said. If someone came to me and said, "This is the trajectory you're on," and this, but there were no conversations, there were no one-on-one,
uh
this is where you are, and this is where that will be, taking you long
yeah,
term. Even for me, getting a business degree, these weren't the fundamental conversations of this is
yeah,
how money works. I mean, yeah, debits, credits, things like that, profit loss, those things.
right,
But how it affects you as an individual, your
yes,
your the micro part of your own economy and your household, and how
right,
that's going to look for you long term. Are you saving? Are you accruing debt that is going to negatively affect you? I think the one thing you're focused on when you're standing in that financial aid office in line, and for me, it was a HBCU that just didn't have the funding from
mhm,
private sectors, like maybe it's even getting right now. Um, hey, this is what this is going to look like by the time that interest compounds, and
right,
you're looking at 30, 35, and
right,
what may have cost 15,000 is going to cost 30. I mean, so that if someone set me down and
mhm,
said, okay,
mhm,
the return on investment is not going to be what you you
right,
expect, and
right,
count for things like inflation, and what it will cost to really truly run a household, those conversations that are, God bless this new generation. They're getting this information now. So it would have been amazing to have it back then. Yeah.
yes. And respectfully to you, like in so much love, I just want to reach through the camera and just hug you and say I see you and I hear you with your limited understanding. You were
Mhm.
standing in an office of someone you believed would help you,
Yeah.
not understanding that you were standing in an office of someone whose goal is not to help Nadine understand what return on investment was at this HBCU, but to help Nadine sign up for classes
Mhm.
at this HBCU. And if
Yeah.
that meant taking the loans, then so be it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
again, back to my analogy of I want to lose weight and also I've got these sugar cookies. So
Right.
if I'm saying I want to lose weight and I'm standing in the bakery and I'm asking the bakery, the chef, what do you think your best course of action is for enjoying the holidays? It's, oh, well, here's a sugar cookie, honey, and not understanding that standing in the bakery is not necessarily where I need to get the expertise to perhaps lose weight.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I find so frustrating sometimes is because there's this whole algorithm, this whole what I call human algorithm, all this noise of take the loans and figure out how to pay it off later. And I'm having a hard time getting my message through. And maybe it is those one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that when it's personalized, it has more impact, only because I feel like if you're, when someone's speaking to the greater audience, you feel like, okay, this does not pertain to me because you're thinking, oh no, you don't understand. I may be the first to graduate from a university, or I had an uncle who passed away who really wanted me to attend
Mhm.
an HBCU. And all you're seeing is, what it will
Yes.
mean to the family and
Yes.
what it will mean long term, and making this one proud or that one proud, not understanding that, you have to carry that debt. It is your name on there. You
Yes.
may have a cosigner, but at a certain point that drops off and it is your sole responsibility.
Yes.
And we all understand that. But at 18,
Yeah. Yeah.
19, when you're just like, oh yeah, I'll have that six-figure job, it'll take care of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand today, six figures is still just, not really even enough.
Right.
Um, so yeah,
Right.
it's a lot of those
Right.
things, that future pacing that we don't do when we're seeing the end goal of, I just want the education. I just want to make family proud. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Did you say future pacing? Is that what you
Mhm.
said? I've not
Mhm.
heard that term, but I love it.
Yeah. Just, thinking in terms of 5 to 10 years down the road, what it will
Right.
truly look like if you're, doing that
Right.
future pacing.
Love it.
Mhm.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, Nadine, you are such a joy and delight. I am so grateful for you. I'm grateful for you telling your story. I'm grateful that your daughter's trajectory and perhaps her offspring, that generations after you, Nadine, are going to have a different trajectory because of your experience, and maybe even perhaps because of the conversation you and I've had. And maybe that's just part of my goal, is to go out and have conversations with however many people there are in the United States that are graduating in May. And it's interesting because when people talk about entrepreneurship, they talk about your ideal client. And I have been saying for a really long time that my ideal client is a middle school student.
Mhm.
Because if I can get this into the middle schools and get them thinking about a different trajectory through high school and how they
Yes.
can earn all these credits in high school to help mitigate the cost in college and all of that, then I can see a difference. And if I can get parents to say, not only do I want you to graduate from college and make me proud, not only do I want you to attend an HBCU and make me proud, I want you to do it debt free. And it's going to be really, really hard, Nadine, and you can do it.
Yes.
It's not going to be
Absolutely.
easy. I'm not going to give you a pot of money.
Yes.
It's going to be hard. But guess
Yes.
what? Nadine is going through hard right now, and she's been going through hard for decades trying to pay this off.
Yes.
That's been hard.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's really what it's about, is not picking your poison, but really picking your blessing on the other side of it, because to walk away and truly be debt free and also have the piece of paper is the blessing. And it does take, you do the work up front, and to have it simpler, easier, and free to think and truly be able to choose a job not based on the weight of having to pay back a debt, but based on where you can make impact and truly love what you do. So many people have to choose as soon as they come out of school. I just need to pay off the loans. I just need to pay. And then it spirals from there. So you never truly are in charge or have ownership of your life if you're doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so thankful for this conversation. I also am selfishly thankful for what you just said, because I am writing a book called Debt Free Degree. And I just have been talking about the title, and it's with my editor. We're in the midst of edit, so it's not in final production yet. But my working title right now is Debt Free Degree: Graduating Without Debt while getting good grades, having tons of fun, and landing your dream job. And
Yes.
that's what you just said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It truly does. It absolutely affects every other decision that you'll make. And we just don't think about that. We just see, it's that survival mode. Let me just get through this. Let me just get through that. But that's where, the choices that you make today will affect your future, long
Yes.
term. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
Nadine, thank you, thank you, thank you for being so amazing. Thank you for being so transparent. Thank you for just sharing with our community. And I don't know if you feel this way, and if you don't, then please say no, that didn't seem that way to me at all. For Debt Free Degree Beloveds, I interviewed Nadine back to back today. So our first interview was about her consulting business and how she is helping bridge the gap between intention and impact in terms of alignment of values in the hospitality industry. And you could see like her shoulders were back and her head was up and she was, grinning from ear to ear. And then we stopped that interview and then went into this interview to talk about student loan debt. And I don't know if you feel this, Nadine, but your light was a bit diminished and your posture was a little bit more minimized. I don't know if you feel that way.
No, I do. I feel there is absolutely a heaviness that comes in, not just consideration of myself and what I experienced, but just thinking about future generations and understanding just how important. I think the conversation is a little intense, for me here. It's not lighthearted. It's very serious. And I think it's not, I don't want to say drilled in, but impressed upon younger generations enough just how important it is to be able to have that freedom to decide your future without the weight of the debt. And I think that we have kind of become very blasé and okay in accepting of debt in the country. I mean, we as a nation carry so much. So it's easy enough to excuse it, but it does not have to be that way. There are ways out, there are strategies, and sometimes they feel like they are hidden, or like something's kept from you. But I think it just takes finding people like yourself, and just really kind of doing some work in the front end and being intentional about it. That really kind of can save you from a lifelong journey of upset because of money, because money is meant to be a blessing. And it is meant to provide freedom, and not enough of us lean into that understanding. We look at it as a bad thing. We look at it as a burden that we have to carry, but it's so much shifting that can come from seeing it as a blessing. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. I could talk to you forever, Nadine. You are so brilliant and so bright. Love you. Love that you've shared with us. Really appreciate that.
Thank
And
you so
so
much.
thank you. Thank you. All right, beloveds. Until next time, this is a part of our Dang, I Wish I Knew You When I Went to College. And we were grateful to hear from Nadine today. Thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.